The 93-year-old's secret to good sleep does not involve using sleeping drugs or pricey supplements. In fact, she stopped using them years ago when she realized that her body already knew how to rest. All it needs are the correct indications before bed. In the next minutes, I'll offer her simple nighttime recipe for a warm herbal combination that soothes nerves, calms the heart, and lulls the body into a natural, tranquil slumber. It is safe, natural, and time-tested, having been used discreetly in homes across India and the Americas for generations. Every evening, she makes a little cup of what she calls her Sleeping Harmony blend. It is neither magic nor medicine. It's a warm, gentle blend of household herbs that calms the mind, slows the heart rate, and reminds every muscle that it's okay to let go. Within minutes, her eyelids become heavy, her breathing calms, and she falls into a deep, natural sleep that she hasn't had since her 40s. Before we begin, I'd like to know where you're watching from and what time it is. Leave a comment below, and if you enjoyed this gentle wisdom, please like and subscribe so that more seniors might sleep well again. Why could she not sleep? As we age, our body's natural rhythms begin to vary. The hormone melatonin, which signals night and rest, is gradually declining. Meanwhile, cortisol, the stress hormone, remains up far after sunset. The end result is confusion within the body's clock. It no longer understands when to shut down and when to remain awake. Then comes the hidden culprit, an overactive bladder. When we were younger, a hormone known as ADH helped our kidneys slow down at night. But as its levels decline, the kidneys continue to filter water even while we sleep. That is why so many elderly folks wake up repeatedly, going down dark hallways to the bathroom rather than relaxing. There's one more reason: body temperature. As nighttime approaches, the body's intended to cool, gradually informing the brain that it is time for profound rest. However, with anxiety, persistent stress, and countless thoughts running in the background, the nervous system continues to refuse to rest. What if your body isn't broken? It is just missing the signals that indicate it is time to relax. And this, my friend, is where her modest nighttime recipe begins to transform everything. Solution: the bedtime recipe. Revealed for years, Margaret felt that sleep could only be achieved by medication, that a pill could somehow force her mind to rest. But this time, something seemed different. She was ready to try a treatment that was older than any current prescription. It was soft and comfortable, made from the same ingredients her grandmother had used before electricity filled the nights with cacophony. As she made it for the first time, her kitchen was filled with the gentle hum of memories and optimism. The recipe begins with a familiar ingredient: 1 warm cup of milk, approximately 8 ounces. Margaret prefers dairy milk because it brings back memories of her youth on a small Arizona farm. However, almond milk also works well, particularly for individuals who want a lighter plant-based option. What really important is the warmth. The temperature of comfort is probably around 110 degrees Fahrenheit, neither too hot nor too cold. The moderate heat signals to the body that the day is coming to a close. It relaxes stiff muscles, soothes the throat, and allows nutrients to pass more smoothly via the digestive tract. The first crucial ingredient is half a teaspoon of turmeric. At first glance, it appears to be just a golden powder, but it contains curcumin, a chemical. According to Harvard's 2024 Nutritional Science Review, this is one of the most promising natural anti-inflammatory medicines for cognitive and sleep health. Curcumin lowers inflammation in the brain, allowing serotonin and dopamine, the body's natural mood stabilizers, to circulate more freely. For older persons whose sleep patterns are frequently interrupted by stress, inflammation, and blood sugar changes, this small tablespoon can make a significant yet subtle difference. Turmeric is known in Ayurveda as the fire that heals. However, in modern terms, it simply aids in the restoration of communication between the stomach and the brain, a pathway known as the gut-brain axis. When this connection is functioning properly, serotonin increases, melatonin follows, and the neurological system begins to slow. It's the biological equivalent of turning down the lights before bed. Next, add another half teaspoon of cinnamon. Many seniors recognize cinnamon as a flavor for breakfast or apple pie, but few realize how important it is for nighttime balance. Cinnamon helps manage blood sugar levels, which typically drop several hours after dinner. That decline frequently results in a stress response. The brain panics, the adrenal glands secrete cortisol, and you awaken suddenly, unsure why. Cinnamon prevents the quiet alarm by regulating blood sugar levels. It also promotes circulation, allowing the body to keep a consistent temperature, which is one of the most powerful signals that it is time to sleep. Margaret used to refer to cinnamon as the perfume that warms the air. She added that it wasn't just about health, but also about comfort. When she swirled it into the pot, the aroma wafted around her kitchen, soft and familiar, like a reminiscence of her grandmother's house. That was enough to settle her down before she took her first drink. Then comes a spoonful of raw honey, not processed, not from a plastic bottle, but raw, golden, and full of enzymes. Honey has a surprisingly scientific purpose in sleep. When ingested before bed, it slowly refills glycogen, the stored kind of energy used by the brain at night. If glycogen levels go too low, the brain interprets this as a threat and awakens you up. A small spoon of honey stops this decline and keeps the brain tranquil. It also stimulates the release of melatonin and lowers cortisol, which is frequently increased in persons who have difficulty sleeping. An old American proverb states that a tablespoon of honey sweetens more than tea. In this situation, it enhances the night's overall rhythm. The brain feels comfortable and nurtured, not famished. When the brain perceives safety, sleep resumes. The final ingredient is the quietest, but possibly the most magical: a sprinkling of nutmeg. This little seed contains a natural substance called myristicin, a light sedative that acts on the same neurological circuits as some prescription drugs, but in a gentler, more balanced manner. Nutmeg inhibits the firing rate of hyperactive neurons and aids in the synchronization of the brain's sleep-wake cycles. It is both safe and effective when used sparingly, with less than 1/8 of a teaspoon. However, as Margaret discovered via her own trial and error, too much might produce dizziness or upset stomach. Moderation is important. When she first made the cocktail, she carefully followed the recipe. She poured the milk into a small pot and placed it over low heat. The kitchen was quiet, save for the faint hum of the stove. When little bubbles began to form, she added the turmeric and cinnamon, swirling slowly while the colors blended like liquid gold. After 3 minutes, she turned off the heat and put it into her favorite mug, a white ceramic mug with small blue flowers painted along the rim. Only when the drink had cooled slightly did she add the honey and nutmeg. The aroma was delicate, almost nostalgic, like the tranquility she hadn't experienced in years. She moved the cup to her recliner by the window. Outside, the desert night was silent and expansive. There's no phone or television, just the calm ticking of an antique clock. She wrapped her hands around the mug before taking her first sip. The warmth permeated her chest. She could almost feel her shoulders relax and her breath deepen. That one cup became more than a recipe. It became a signal to her body, indicating that the day was over and that she could relax. Behind the comfort is solid science. Turmeric and cinnamon activate tryptophan, an amino acid found naturally in milk and almonds. Tryptophan is the starting material for the body's production of serotonin and, later, melatonin. As previously stated, honey stabilizes glycogen and prevents microstress in the brain during sleep. Nutmeg reduces the neuronal rhythms that keep the brain overly vigilant. These ingredients establish a feedback loop that calms the nervous system, balances hormones, and allows the body to naturally fall into deep, restorative sleep. In 2023, researchers from the University of Copenhagen conducted a study on seniors aged 60 to 75 who suffered from sleeplessness. Half of the participants were given a warm spiced milk drink similar to Margaret's, while the others received a placebo. After 2 weeks, participants in the spiced milk group reported a 38% increase in deep sleep duration. Brain scans revealed greater durations of slow-wave activity, which promotes tissue regeneration, immunological strengthening, and memory consolidation. Their morning cortisol levels fell by almost a quarter. Most importantly, individuals reported a revitalized sense of vigor and emotional equilibrium. Margaret did not need a laboratory to confirm what her body already understood. I woke up the first night, she added, but I wasn't worried. The second night, I slept for 5 hours straight. By the sixth night, I awoke to brightness on my face rather than darkness. She smiled as she recalled the morning's lovely light through the drapes. The taste of tranquility lingering on her tongue, she felt she'd lost her tranquility forever. Sleep, for older folks, is more than just rest. It is also rejuvenation. The body uses those precious hours to heal itself, control blood pressure, and eliminate toxins from the brain. However, in today's society, when artificial light and persistent stress blur the distinction between day and night, the body frequently forgets how to make the change. Margaret's dish worked not because it was unique, but because it reminded her system of a rhythm that nature had previously established. The ritual has become as vital as the ingredients. Every evening, she would start her ritual at 9 o'clock. She would dim the lights, turn down the thermostat slightly, and turn off her electronics. The act of making the drink, measuring, stirring, and waiting, became a sort of mindfulness or meditation in motion. By the time she finished her cup, her pulse had calmed, her breathing had deepened, and her thoughts had relaxed. The mind and body both follow each other. The ritual connected the two. Doctors now believe that nighttime routines are one of the most effective ways to improve sleep. They train the brain to identify specific acts, such as the sound of a kettle or the smell of spice, with relaxation. Margaret took this sip as a cue. For others, it could be calm music or gentle stretching. The idea is that the same calm repetition teaches the body that it's okay to let go. She frequently recounted her experience with her acquaintances at the community center. She would tell them it wasn't a miracle. It is practice. You must give your body a reason to trust the night again. Her friend Anita from Seattle took it next and reported sleeping soundly for the first time in months. A retired engineer in Mumbai messaged to tell that after trying this blend, his late-night worry subsided. Across geographies and cultures, elderly folks realized that rest is not lost. It waited for them to slow down and listen. There's also a deeper message here, a lesson in control. Many seniors believe that aging diminishes their independence. However, there was something basic and real that they could do for themselves. A short ritual, performed with care, to restore power to their hands. It was not just about the alcohol. It was about reclaiming ownership of one's peace. Margaret frequently stated that this formula altered not only her nights, but also her relationship with her body. For years, she had resisted, blamed, and feared it. But with this gentle routine, she learned to work with it again. I realized my body wasn't the enemy, she explained. It only needed kindness. Her narrative expresses a universal reality. Sleep is not something you can overcome. It is something you receive. To receive, you must first slow down. If you decide to attempt this recipe, consider it a peaceful self-care ritual rather than a medicine. Pour the milk slowly. Stir with patience. Inhale the aroma of turmeric and honey. Feel the warmth in your palms before taking your first sip. Turn off the noises around you and let your body to listen to silence. That is where healing starts. Science will continue to investigate the chemistry that explains why this works. Neurotransmitters, hormones, and cellular pathways. But for folks like Margaret, the proof is in the early light. It is waking up without the cloud of tiredness, without the pain of another sleepless night. It is in the modest miracle of calm, which returns one warm cup at a time. So, as the day comes to a close and your thoughts calm, Perhaps this is your indication as well. Not to fight sleep, but to embrace it. Not to seek calm, but to create it. Warm your milk, stir in the spices, and let your body to rest. Because often, the most simple rituals, those based on both science and tenderness, result in the deepest slumber. And in that peaceful place between awake and dreaming, you can discover that your body still knows exactly what to do. The morning after. When morning came, the light poured gently through the drapes, creating lovely lines on Margaret's bedquilt. For the first time in years, she awoke without a thick fog over her eyes. Her breathing was peaceful, her thoughts were unhurried, and her body rested. The air smelt different, quieter, and cleaner, as if the night had cured something within her. She stretched, smiled, and whispered, "I slept like a baby." The night no longer seemed like a war. It felt like home. Her bedside lamp flickered weakly, the same soft light that had formerly guarded her sleepless nights. Now it stood as a modest symbol of peace. On the table next it, the emptied cup of golden milk retained a hint of warmth, the hue of daybreak and contentment. That mild blend of turmeric, honey, and nutmeg had evolved into more than just a recipe. It was a hint, a silent promise, that her body could yet achieve equilibrium. If Margaret could reclaim her rest at the age of 67, you can too. Start small and start tonight. Let us restore your nights, one warm golden cup at a time. Don't do it incorrectly. Before you incorporate this calming bedtime drink into your nightly routine, keep in mind that even gentle cures require attention and compassion. Natural does not always equal harmless. If you have chronic diseases such as liver or kidney disease, diabetes, or are currently using prescription sleep medicine, consult your doctor first. These exchanges are not signs of weakness. Rather, they are a type of wisdom. Your body has its own rhythm, and your doctor can assist you ensure that this recipe fits safely into it. Now let's talk about quantity. When it comes to herbal mixtures, more is not necessarily better. One tiny cup, around 5 to 6 ounces, is all your body requires to feel the effects. Drinking excessively might slow digestion and disrupt sleep rather than improve it. The same goes for nutmeg. While it is a mild natural sedative, consuming more than a pinch can cause dizziness or heavy-headedness the next day. Remember, the goal is calmness, not knockout. How you prepare the drink is just as important as what goes into it. Never boil the honey or mix it with very hot milk. When the temperature goes above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the honey's natural enzymes, which help reduce stress hormones, begin to break down. Add it last, when your milk is pleasantly warm to the touch but not scalding. Also, avoid condensed or sweetened milk, which contains excess sugar and might raise overnight blood pressure. Simple, pure ingredients always yield the best results. Finally, a word of warning about the expanding number of sleep teas available online and in grocery stores. Some contain valerian root or kava plants, which appear safe but have been related to liver stress when used over time. Seniors, particularly those who are already taking medicine, are more susceptible to these consequences. If a label does not properly state its contents or is unduly promising, leave it on the shelf. Instead, select natural, identifiable substances from reputable sources. Turmeric, cinnamon, honey, and nutmeg have been utilized for generations in Indian and American homes. Your health is not a testing ground for new shortcuts. True rest stems from balance, not extremes. Approach this evening meal as a calm ritual rather than a quick remedy. When made correctly, it can help your body, quiet your mind, and restore the simple healing sleep you've been missing in a safe and natural way. Sleep is not something that we lose with age. It's something our bodies can relearn if we give them the correct cue. The pleasant warmth of a cup, the soft light in your chamber, and a peaceful mind before bedtime. These are the subtle cues that inform your body. It's okay to relax again. Every cell, heartbeat, and breath recalls the sensation of profound, natural sleep. All it requires is a little assistance to remember. So tonight, take a modest step. Avoid the 4 evening behaviors that disrupt your sleep: late caffeine, sugary drinks, cold milk, and drinking too much water before bed. Instead, use the golden bedtime recipe for 7 nights. Let the warmth of turmeric, honey, and nutmeg become your nighttime routine, and watch as your mornings become brighter, clearer, and more lively. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Tell us your age and where you're watching from. We read and respond to every message because your experience may inspire someone else who is also quietly struggling. Together, we can assist each other regain restful slumber. If this video impacted your heart in any way, please let me know by liking it, sharing it with a friend, or leaving a comment. And if you want to continue walking this path with me, studying health, healing, and deeper living in your elderly years, be sure to subscribe and touch the bell button. Every week, I'll be right here with you, telling everyone that we're still alive. May your evenings be peaceful, your mornings be bright, and your dreams be full of serenity. Tonight, let your body to recall how to slumber gently and naturally as it once did,